Welcome back, guys. So in this video, let's talk about how to do Google advertising for CPAs and financial services professionals successfully, meaning how to actually make money and not lose your hard-earned cash to Google ads. Before we do a 10-minute deep dive case study video into my client, Tia, I want to give some background information on her, how she was doing before she found me, and what sort of results we're getting after working with me. So before Tia started working with me, she was working with a previous marketing agency who, ironically enough, whose niche was basically focused on tax professionals. So they did marketing or digital marketing for tax professionals. She hired them to do Google advertising. So she spent over the course of 4 months, $1,400 in ad spend and only netted one conversion. So obviously not really great results. She fired him. After being referred to me from a friend of mine, I worked with Tia for 3 months. And in the course of 3 months, we spent $4,200 in ad spend and netted 85 conversions. Actually, here's some more proof below with screenshot. Like I said, $4,200 in ad spend, 85 conversions at a cost per conversion of $50. We measure a conversion as either a form fill, a calendar booking, and or a phone call. Okay, so 85 leads, 4 months or 3 months with $4,200 in ad spend. After wrapping up the campaign, Tia said that she estimates anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 in revenue can be attributed back to Google advertising. So I'm really glad to have gotten that sort of success with Tia. Great woman, great professional. Like most CPAs, she really knows her stuff, but she just needed a competent ad agency who knew what they were doing with Google Ads. And if after the end of this video, you want to work with me, we'll leave our link in the description below to our website where you can book a call and we can figure out if I'm a good fit for you. With that said, let's dive into this case study and talk about how I did it. Okay, so before we get into the nitty gritty of these accounts and what made it successful, I just want to show some proof. This is one of several campaigns we had running. This is really our best campaign that we had as well. We were running campaigns on generic keywords such as CPAs and XYZ City, QuickBooks, bookkeeping, stuff like that. But this was our best performing campaign. As you can see here, we spent $2,000 for this campaign, netted 48 conversions at a cost per conversion of $42. We measure a conversion as either a phone call, a form fill, or a booking. These are our conversions right here. Like I said, there's a myriad of different conversions. Sometimes they booked via Calendly. Sometimes they made a phone call. Sometimes they contacted us through the contact form. Look at the keywords. Nothing too fancy. We had keywords plus XYZ City, certified public accountant, a CPA near me, and so on and so forth. Usually there's roughly about a dozen or 2 dozen different keywords you're probably trying to target, depending on your service. Okay. But those were the types of keywords we're targeting. One of the other things we're doing is that we cast a pretty broad net for the clients. She's based in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So we were targeting Washington, D.C., Montgomery County, and certain parts of Virginia. But really, the majority of the click traffic was really coming from Montgomery County. One of the things that we were doing differently versus the previous agency that she hired, where she lost roughly $1,500, was we were running things on an ad schedule, like basically 9 to 5 office hours. The previous agency were running campaigns 24/7, which I was a bit bewildered by that. We also, if I could show you here, we were also, in terms of bid strategy, we were manually controlling our bids rather than relying on one of Google's artificial intelligence bidding strategies, such as max clicks, max conversions, or max conversion value. Highly recommend you stay away from these bid strategies if you have a low campaign ad spend. The client was spending roughly $1,500 a month. I define that as low for this particular niche. So because of that, we felt more comfortable micromanaging the client's bid strategy. And I think that paid off pretty well for us. So, as much as picking the right keywords is important, it's also important to understand which keywords you need to block out from the very beginning, which is what we call the negative keyword list library. Because I have 7 years experience doing Google Ads across many different niches, we've been able, as an agency, we've been able to build up our own internal negative keyword list library. And so basically, this is basically a library of junk keywords that you need to block out from the very beginning. A lot of agencies, when you hire them, they don't start picking up negative keyword lists and blocking them out until the campaign starts. The difference between what we do as an agency versus other agencies is that they wait until the campaign starts. We don't wait until that point. We actually upload them before the campaign starts. Because what ends up happening is that, having operated in other industries and niches, theoretically, you could see narrative keyword lists driving or being responsible for 50% of your ad spend costs on a monthly basis. So what that means is that if you're spending $2,000 a month on Google Ads, it's not too hard to see where you could be spending 50% of those keywords or 50% of that budget on attracting junk keywords. So in this example of a CPA business, you may attract junk keywords such as CPA jobs near me, right? Or bookkeeping jobs near me, or CPA courses, or CPA exams. So if you don't have a negative keyword list library from the very beginning, it's going to be a tough uphill climb for you as you're doing Google Ads, especially if you're a do-it-yourself and you don't have these sort of tools. So examples of the sort of like buckets of negative keywords that we have in our library would be brand related, such as like H&R Block is a perfect example of a brand that you want to block out. Education, employment related, informational related. So examples of these would be, like I said, CPA jobs or bookkeeping jobs. That's like an employment related negative keyword list or negative keyword that we have. So we block these out from the very beginning. So again, if you want to drive down costs and increase cost per lead, or actually lower cost per lead but increase leads, have your own negative keyword list library. One of the biggest concerns that my small business clients have before getting started with Google Ads is, can they compete with like national advertisers who have bigger budgets than they do? Right? That's a very common concern, because a lot of people think that you need to spend a lot of money to beat your national competitors. So in this case, what you're looking at is the Auction Insights dashboard. And so what the Auction Insights dashboard shows is basically how well do you rank relative to your local competitors who are bidding for the same keywords in your area. All right. So what you're looking at right now are some of the competitors, such as 1-800accountant.com, intuit.com, bart.com, Thumbtack, Block Advisors, Ramsey Solutions, which is Dave Ramsey himself. So all of these competitors, these are national players. You don't see one local player here, with the exception of my client. And we are actually beating out 8 other competitors when it comes to impression share. And if you don't know what impression share means, impression share is basically, it's a simple metric that Google devised that says how many impressions or how many views or eyeballs is your ad getting relative to the overall auction itself. So what this is saying is that our impression share is 30%, which is beating out some of these other national competitors. Like if you take a look at Block Advisors, even though they have more money to spend, they're only getting an impression share that's less than 10%, right? And our top of page rate, which is how often is our ad being shown at the top of the page, is 65%. This is really good for a client that's only spending $1,500 a month in ad spend. Okay. And so the way you're able to accomplish these sort of metrics is basically focusing on having the right keywords, having a good landing page, blocking out the negative keywords, and so on and so forth. But the reason why I want to show this dashboard is to let you know that as a CPA or as a tax professional, whether you're a bookkeeper or you're doing tax prep or you're a tax advisor, whatever the case is, you can definitely compete against the bigger players if your campaign structure is done properly and if you know what levers to pull within Google Ads. If you don't know what levers to pull, then obviously you'll be at the bottom, just like these guys are. But you can definitely, absolutely, with a small budget like my client, be able to succeed. So one of the tools that we use as part of our Google Ads Sprint Strategy program here at my agency is what I refer to as call analytics or call tracking. And so what call tracking does is that we basically embed some JavaScript code onto the landing page, and that JavaScript code will track where the calls are coming from. So as you can see on the screen, this is showing through our dashboard, what keywords are people using to find my clients, right? So we can track this back to the actual campaign that we're running, because we're running multiple campaigns within Google. So we can see what keywords are actually driving leads, and we can judge lead quality by the length of the phone call. For example, if a call only lasts 18 seconds, then obviously that wasn't a great lead. But if calls are lasting like 3 minutes, that's a good indication of a good lead right there. And we could track where they're coming from. For example, are they coming from the website? Are they coming from the Google My Business listing? We had a lot of calls coming from Google My Business as well. So highly, highly recommend, if you're going to do Google Ads, have call tracking set up properly. And this is what we do as well. And it's actually funny, before I get to my next tip, it's actually really funny. I found that a lot of agencies, for whatever reason, they don't use call tracking and call analytics. And the problem with that is, how do you know if you're delivering success for your client unless you're using call tracking and call analytics, right? You don't, because you may have leads coming from Yelp rather than Google Ads, but you don't know unless you're using call analytics. So again, highly recommend you guys use call analytics and call tracking when you're doing Google Ads. It's worth the money. So as we wrap up this successful case study video, there's a couple ways we can help you. Number one, if you're running Google Ads right now and you feel like you want a third party's opinion on how it's performing and how maybe it can do better, we do charge for our audits. Basically, you give us access to your account. Usually within 3 or 4 business days, we'll get back to you, provide a full audit and analysis of the account and how to get things back on track, or what sort of things you can tweak or change to make it better. That's number one. Number two, if you want someone to take over the account, manage things professionally while you focus on other things as a business owner, we can certainly do that as well. That's really our expertise. Me personally, if you exclude my media buying team, I've been doing Google Ads for the last 8 years, spent more than $5 million in career ad spend just on Google search alone. Our specialty are service-based businesses, both at the B2C and B2B level. If you sell a service and your goal is either more phone calls, more contact form fills, or more calendar bookings, we can help you in that regards as it relates to Google search. So you can get in touch with us through our website or through our calendar. I'll leave a link in the description below. Other than that, we'll talk to you soon. Later. Bye.